I think in the late 60s, there was probably 28 bands in Fife. There are now something like 4. And the interest just isn't there anymore. It's moved on in popularity, I would say. For the heyday, we never had any problems then gathering money or gathering players or gathering interest. Now we tend to lose kids at university stage. Maybe come back at 2021 and they continue for there. Some of them you never see again, which is a wee bit maybe disheartening when you think the amount of people that's been taught to play.
It's very important for youth development at the moment. We're seeing a huge decline in the brass bands in Scotland as a whole. Some of the big bands in Scotland are really struggling to get players in the door, and similarly we're the same. Hope to encourage youngsters to get involved, certainly to keep the spirit of brass band alive in Scotland, and unfortunately if we struggle to do that, things might not last for too much longer.
Later on in life, when my youngsters come along, I felt I'd take them along in the band so they could learn. And when I brought them along for lessons, I was invited into the band, and it was like a dream come true. You know, at 40 years of age, being asked to play in a brass band really made me feel very welcome.
Buckhaven band is just a bit different. It's a lower section band sitting in an area of bands which are all in higher sections. I was going to say they're better, but they're not. In a way, they're maybe better musically, but they're not better. They don't have what Buckhaven band has. They're not better in the actual brass band spirit. And you know, that band has kept going, it's kept surviving. Sometimes it's been at a low ebb, but it survived very well when perhaps it shouldn't have done, and others in other areas certainly have not.
Throughout the years we've had different conductors and they've got different ideas, so you pick up a lot of experience from these conductors.
That's the measure of a conductor, especially at this level of banding. In a lot of ways it's harder, sort of at third, fourth section standard, because you've got to understand some of the limitations and you've got to know how to get the very best you can out of the players that you've got, and that's the thing, is trying to push them as hard as you can without upsetting them, but trying to get as good as you performance as you can from the players that you've got.
Playing musical instrument is a great thing, you know, for anyone to be able. You can lose yourself with, you know, if you're really depressed and fed up, you can wander up your bedroom, pick up your musical instrument and play, you know, which I do often, just sit and just play tunes.
First played the French horn, but then I had to get braces on, so they put me onto the trombone, but it just been a wee lassie, my arms weren't long enough, so I got put onto the cornet, and that's where I've been ever since.
Playing my instrument's one of the most natural things that I do. You know, it's you pick it up and it naturally you get into the shape to play, and you actually start playing, and it's just totally natural.
But when you go to competition stuff like our test piece for the Scottish Championships takes probably in the region of 3 or 4 months to prepare and to perfect.
You learn it fairly early on, and you play it again and again and again, and you kind of get complacent. So it's maintaining interest and a bit of concentration is the difficult part.
Because it's a band, if you don't practice, it's not just yourself you're letting down, but it's everybody else. So you definitely need to make sure that you practice and come to as many rehearsals as possible.
Yeah, it's time consuming, but you get more out of things the more you put in. So if you put a lot of effort into trying to make a better sound and proving yourself and proving it in the context of the band, it's far better enjoyment that you actually get yourself. So I believe that effort does bring results.
I feel like I've achieved something if I go to a contest and I know not so much at a good result, but if I know I've played well, I'm quite happy at that.
The last 6 years is the only time I've been contesting. It's just so different. It's the thrill of actually everything coming to a culmination when you're actually at the contest, knowing that that's the day that all the work you've put in, this is where you get the fruition.
We're fortunate enough to become Scottish champions 2 years ago, and that was a huge achievement for everybody in the band.
Anybody that takes up music, whether it be brass band, a violin, or anything like that, you can count in your one hand how many go astray, and that's how I look at it.
You play it well, you can get sort of shivers on your spine when you're playing it. It's not the kind of thing that everybody likes, but especially if you're playing it, you're hearing it live, it's a totally different feeling to listen to bloody U2 or Coldplay or something. It's not the same thing. It's a different feeling, it's a different sensation. You can feel the shivers going up your spine, as I say. It's the kind of thing you either like it or you don't. It's a bit like Marmite. It's your cup of tea or it's not.
We don't get out into the community enough. And certainly at Christmas time, perhaps we should stand on a few street corners and let people hear the band. And certainly I know when we go to some of the churches we've been to recently and then some of the concerts, the people have thoroughly enjoyed what they've heard, you know.
You know, some concerts we go to will have a small audience, and then they'll say, "Oh, I wish more people had come to hear you." It's we're trying to project our image in the community to get more people to come along, because those that do really do have a good time.
And with brass bands, I think they're surprised at the variance of music that we can play. You know, we laugh about playing things like Mamma Mia and 500 Miles, but that's what fills the seats, you know, that's what people want to clap and hear. They don't want us just to play our test pieces, you know, and they're quite amazed, you know, that unlike, you know, sort of some different modes where they're stuck into their own sort of music. A brass band can do quite a varied programme, and I think that's really good for us, you know.
Have the band, I wouldn't be playing the drums, I would probably lose it. Constantly on a weekly basis I come here, I want to do it. If we break off for the summer holidays, I'll get to the point at the end of the summer holidays, I'll think, I can't wait to get back.
Obviously over the years people have come and went, but I mean I would say there's always a core that have kind of remained, so you definitely have a lot of friends, and I met my husband in the band as well, so that was quite nice. But we always have nights out and folk round to the house, and so I think you would miss it if you didn't have it, just for all the people that you're meeting through it.
The band for me is an escape. You can just forget about your work, any problems at home, just leave the kids with the wife, just go to band, and you're there in the music, and you just enjoy it so much. It really is, it's everything.
My family are quite involved. My brother used to play when he was younger, so my mother and father both have had involvement with the brass band over the years. My wife also goes away to contests and that with us at the moment. So it is quite a family affair.
You do put in an awful lot of time. And I'm very lucky, you know, I've got a wife who's marvellous, you know, and she knows that that's part of my life and just lets me get on with it, you know, and I've also been very fortunate that all my family have played, and we've got 2 in the band at the moment.
The band's been my life since, as I say, 1958. When I first got involved with the band, I was always interested. I was there extra. I played in the junior band, I played in the senior band, I went to extra rehearsals. I got involved with painting the hall, I got involved with sorting the roof, I got involved with rewiring the place, emptying buckets, you name it. It's a family thing. And I would say it's always funny because I say it's like being in the Masons. They all look after one another. We all know how to go and have a good time and enjoy yourself. And if you cut one of us, we'll all bleed.